Hello everyone, just a quick word from your friendly editor/husband. For all of you who listen to So I'm Watching This Show and own an Android device, do me a favor. Go to the Google Play Store and download the Podcast Republic app. It's a fantastic app that allows you to get all of your favorite podcasts directly on your Android devices. I use the app and love it. I can search for the podcasts I want to listen to, select them as favorites, and have them all just a click away. Make sure you set So I'm Watching the Show as a favorite so you don't miss any new episodes. Again, the app is Podcast Republic, available on your Android device. Thanks!
I saw a gator.
When?
Well, I've seen several,
Oh.
but I went on the nature trails with Andrew and we saw like a bunch of them.
When we were driving out to your house for 4th of July, Will saw a dead one on the side of the road.
A dead gator?
A dead gator, yeah, on the side of the median.
Oh my god.
And then when we were driving back, and I didn't see it, and so then we were driving back, Will goes, oh my god, look, another dead gator on the other side of the median at a whole different point, and I didn't see that one either.
Welcome to Florida.
I know, it was crazy.
A different dead gator. Was it that stretch?
It was
kind of close to my house.
It was closer to your house than it was to our house, and it was on the 528. So yeah,
with the kind of like the lakes on either side.
No.
Okay, because there was a gator around there that my mom saw that was apparently huge.
No.
But no, I was gonna say I saw like 2 the year that I came down here because one of them was in the ditch outside of Full Sail, and they had to call animal control to get it. Because we were gonna have my friend Jen on this episode, and she was not able to record, to be on it. So, but she is like obsessed with like sharks and alligators. And there was like a period,
predatory dinosaur animals that still exist.
Yeah, there was a period of time where she was going to move down here, and she just kept as sincerely as possible asking me how to like protect from gators. And I was like, they're not lying in wait.
It's
I was
not
like they're not
serious problem.
And so she would proceed to send me every news article of like she would be like, make sure to check under your car. And I'm like, they're not under. I was like, I mean, they could be.
Yeah, but it's like a lot of that stuff is like when you get closer to the Everglades. Like, we're not close to the Everglades.
Yeah. And so sure enough, it was like the first time she came to visit me in Florida. The whole time she was looking for gators. And I was like, you're not going to see one. And then she saw one at the airport.
Yeah.
On the monorail going out to the terminal, she saw one in the water. You were just listening to the Gator remix of art. Would that even
Could you even imagine?
Well, can you put like alligator roars into the... So, hello everybody, I am Will.
And I'm Kristin.
And this is why I'm watching this show. On today's episode, we are going to not quite continue, I was going to say continue our tradition, because we've already established that we cover shark movies. Yeah. And I feel like gator movies is like a subcategory of the shark movies.
Sure, it's like a monstrous water creature.
Mm-hmm. We don't really have any reason to be doing this other than that movie Crawl is coming out.
And it is a tight 87 minutes, and I can't fucking wait.
It was one of those that I was like, this looks so bad, but there's also the slightest possibility that it's gonna maybe be great.
Yeah.
So I was like, why don't we go see it? And it's about like a hurricane in Florida, and there's like a, I don't know, mutant gator attack or something. Mm-hmm. I actually know next to nothing about it.
I don't think they're mutants. I think they're just gators. Okay.
It's practically a documentary.
Also, I want you to know that this movie has a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Does it? That's what I just said, though, isn't it? Like
it only has 5 reviews counted, but still.
I mean, it's open right now, so that actually doesn't bode well. Like we could be at the theater right now, and then I don't know, maybe foolishly so assumed we wouldn't have enough to say about it, so we decided to pair it with like Placid, which I cannot remember if you knew this, so I'll go ahead and say now, but I have never seen.
Okay. It's a tight 82 minutes.
Okay.
And it's got people in it.
Isn't like Betty White or something in it?
Betty White is in it. Bridget Fonda is in it. Bill Pullman is in it. Oliver Platt is in it. And Meredith Salinger, Patton Oswalt's wife.
Okay.
She's in it too.
So it has like people in it. You were like, people.
Well, those are all people that I sincerely love to the bottom of my heart.
Bridget Fonda?
I love Bridget Fonda.
Oh, okay.
She's great.
Well, okay, fine. We're gonna be off to a rocky start, apparently.
You don't like Bridget Fonda?
I don't know much about her.
Oh, okay.
It just was. It wasn't like, yes, the great.
I mean, if it helps you, she's the one that I like the least in this movie.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so I know nothing about it. I think isn't it a big alligator, and isn't it in a lake?
Mm-hmm.
And doesn't it eat Betty White's dog or something?
It eats lots of things. I don't remember if it eats her dog or not.
So, but that's the extent of my knowledge. So I guess we're gonna go watch it, and then we'll see. I have a little bit more hope that this will. I don't anticipate having a lot to say about it, but we've well established a dynamic where we'll watch an older movie that you love, and I'm sort of like, okay.
I will say that I don't have the same love for this that I've had for some of the other movies that I've made you watch that you didn't like, but it is so campy and so silly. And I think this one is like funnier in a real way than like Armageddon.
Okay.
But it has also been like more than 5 years since I've watched Lake Placid. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It's mostly just so we can go see Crawl.
Yes,
so.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're going to go watch it, and then we'll check back in when we're done.
Okie doke.
Bye.
It has existed since prehistoric times. It was worshipped by primitive cultures. It can kill a man with one crushing bite.
We heard a man was bit in half.
Any recent bear attacks?
Bears don't attack people underwater.
Probably a fever then.
What was that?
Whatever's out there being shot with this, he's dead.
Oh, no.
Sheriff, how many deputies you got?
You came here to help you find it.
We can't let him kill it.
Experience a few parts mystery.
Do you have any theories of why he's here?
Honestly, I don't know.
And a few parts missing.
It's a human toe.
Is this the man who was killed? He seemed taller.
Oh my God.
Bill Pullman.
Shoot him! No! How much of a wacko is this guy?
Bridget Fonda.
Mother!
Oliver Platt.
Maybe he swam back out!
Maybe not. I just have this feeling everything's totally safe.
This summer, the Earth's oldest creature has just found a new home.
Go under!
Lake Placid.
So, alligators are freshwater and crocodiles are saltwater?
I think so, yes.
And crocodiles are not on this continent or
Correct.
South America, or are they South?
I think they're only in Africa and Asia.
Okay, that sounds right. If
I'm
I've
not
learned
100%.
anything from Disney's The Jungle Cruise.
That is the best place to get your animal knowledge from.
Well, and I think gators are typically much larger than crocodiles. I think crocodiles are smaller.
It's the other way.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I'll look it up if it's...
I'm on it too.
Yeah, gators are tend to be bigger than crocodiles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't have imagined that, but whatevs.
Well, the Nile crocodiles and stuff are smaller.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fair.
So you felt weird watching this movie. Like you were kind of like anticipating what I was going to say. Is that?
A little.
Well, you didn't tell me that this movie was hilarious.
Well, I feel like I told you that Armageddon was hilarious and you didn't agree. So I didn't want to put myself out there.
No, this movie was hilarious.
Okay, good.
I mean, in no reality is it a good movie.
No, it's not great.
I can't imagine the next time that I'm going to like put it on intentionally. But it was really weird because at first I was a little bit like, I don't really know what's happening. I didn't know it was rated R either. That was a surprise. I mean, frankly, if I'm being critical, I could have used a little bit more. There's only like 2 deaths or 3 maybe.
Well, you know, there's only so much they can do in that tight 82 minutes.
Yeah, I know. I could have used a little bit more. because the handful of times that it was crazy, I was like, what? Like, hands down, the craziest thing in the entire movie is the bear.
Yeah.
They're just like having this conversation, and out of nowhere, it's like a bear attack. And unlike Riverdale, we see it this time. But then the crocodile's like, not on my watch. And he like just out of nowhere attacks this bear and then goes back into the lake. And, you know, there's a part of me that's sort of like, how deep is this lake at any given moment? Like,
I mean, lakes can get pretty deep.
Oh, sure. But they're like waiting. Like the dude is standing like knee deep in the water. And meanwhile, she's like fully submerged and like snagged her foot. Like it was kind of like, okay, I don't know if this is a common thing. It's gotta be relatively universal, but there's a certain type of movie that I think is best for like young kids at a sleepover.
Sure.
And it's like, yes, it's rated R. There's some bad words. There's no nudity, but there's a little bit of gore. And it's just the right amount that would be perfect for like a 12-year-old or like a 13-year-old
sure.
at like a slumber party. And that's really what this was giving me.
I agree.
When you're just dipping your toe into like adult entertainment. And I think it was perfect. It also, I mean, is the movie itself satire?
Probably a little. It's David E. Kelly, so there's got to be... He wrote it. There's got to be at least a little of that.
I was finding it very, very funny in that way where you're not, like, cackling. It's more of like a...
Yeah.
And it's in particular the dynamic between Brendan Gleeson and Oliver Platt.
Uh-huh.
I was anticipating it being more annoying than it was. And oh, God, her and... Bill Pullman in there, like, It Happened One Night, you know, Clark Gable, Claudette Colbert,
yeah,
because she was really annoying at first, but it just kept being this side of funny.
Right.
Like there's almost like a deep sense of irony throughout the whole movie.
It is very late 90s in that way.
Uh-huh. But not sardonic, not like...
No.
Well, like I said, it was so much funnier than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I wouldn't really know how to go over the plot. There's a crocodile in a lake, and it's not supposed to be there. And then Betty White lies a lot, and then it eats a person, and then they catch it, and that's kind of the end.
Betty White also says some bad words.
She does.
If I had a dick, this is where I'd tell you to suck it.
That was pretty great.
I do also love when she just is like, "You're all cocksuckers." You're all cocksuckers.
She's played this role several times.
Because it was like, I remember everybody losing their shit about the proposal. And I was like, have none of you ever seen Lake Placid? Because she's got a mouth on her in that movie, too.
Well, we have liked her a lot for very specific reasons. A lot, like, going back before it was the thing.
Yeah.
Because you in particular were really annoyed by the Betty White mania, and not because you didn't think she deserved it, but you were just kind of like, where the fuck have you all been?
Yeah, Betty White has always been great.
Because remember she had that resurgence in the late 2000s?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've talked about before, we had a series of audiobooks. They were like 70-minute long audio tapes, like plays or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it was called A Day at ... And you'd fill in like the aquarium, the beach, the zoo, the like whatever. And we would listen to them on long road trips, and she narrated them. And so it's like my whole life, I've just like absolutely adored her and her voice and just everything that she does. Yeah. And because is she the one that was also in Las Vegas, the TV show? I think she was in an episode of Las Vegas where she wouldn't sell her house, and they were buying it to like build.
Oh, I don't know.
Add on to the casino or something. And she would not let them sell the house, but she couldn't remember why.
Oh.
And so she finally did. They gave her enough money that she sold her house to them, and then they found a dead body in the cellar. And she had forgotten that she had killed her husband, and that's why she wouldn't sell the house.
That's amazing.
And so they were kind of like, well, do we arrest her? Like,
that's so funny.
Yeah, and I was even going to go as far as to say that, like, it really started to lose me with the second cow.
Okay, yeah.
Because the first cow's funny enough, and that's also, I mean, that's the circle of life. I had no real problem with that.
Yeah.
But the second cow part was mean, especially...
It was a little mean, yeah.
When it cut to her just out there, like, in the middle of the night. And I had a hunch, because she just falls into the ocean and we don't see her again. And I did though at the end, and she's just sort of like running up on the bank.
She's just walking around.
I think the part that I liked the most was when whatever the officer got his head bit off.
Sure.
I don't think that's entirely how crocodiles work.
It's not how crocodiles or alligators work, because what they do is they incapacitate their prey and take it to the bottom and drown it and leave it there to rot for a while, and then they eat it.
Yeah, I was thinking they didn't jump through the air, cleanly bite off the head of a red shirt, and then spit his head up on the bank.
Look, here's the thing, though. We don't know how, several 100-year-old crocodiles that emigrated from Asia to Maine, we don't know how they operate.
Did they find out where it came from?
Well, they figured out it was like an Asian crocodile.
Uh-huh.
So it had to come from somewhere, but
no, there was not a button put on that.
There was not like an official, no.
Yeah, honestly, I could have done with a higher body count.
Yeah, I was sitting there for like the last 20 minutes because I couldn't remember if Meredith Salinger died or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I have like such a fond soft spot for her because of this movie and also the episode of Buffy that she's in.
She was really funny in this too, because I had that thing happen to me where when I'm watching something and it's like amusing, I'm like, this is fine. I don't feel strongly one way or another. But I'll just kind of be like, characters will be behaving in such a way, and I'll be like, what a weird choice. Like, somebody thought of it, and someone believed it, and like, look what we've done so far. Like, I don't know. And so she just kind of was like this, like, she was a little trampy, but like not. And then her thing with Oliver Platt, I was just kind of like, what a weird character.
Yeah.
And I too was worried for her. And no. And I honestly, now that I'm sitting here saying it, I don't know that I wish more people had died. I just assumed, like, I just kept waiting for Oliver Platt to get like stupidly killed.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen.
I think that's what's so fun about it, is that he doesn't.
Yeah, and it helps the ending, because, like, I guess this is the intended outcome, but by the end of the movie, I don't want them to kill the crocodile either.
Yeah.
Are you there too?
Well, yeah, they're all right. It's like when they found that big clam. You remember when they found that 700-year-old clam?
Stop.
And then they killed it. And it's just like, sounds about right. And on the one hand, it's like, this is like the oldest crocodile in the world, probably. You have to keep it somewhere. You have to do something with it.
The thing with the clam is they wouldn't have killed it if they knew, but they only found out it was that old by killing it.
Exactly.
Well, because that's the other thing that's like kind of terrifying about gators and crocodiles. I'm not sure about crocodiles. I know it's true of gators, is that they're kind of immortal.
Oh.
They they don't die from old age.
Oh, it's kind of like sharks too. That's why Deep Blue Sea actually makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you can harness that brain power, you could, it's like the Jurassic Park science, where it's like, it makes enough sense that I'm willing to go with it.
But it's something like they can only die from like disease. Typically, how most gators die is they get too big and they can't feed themselves and they starve. That is the cause of death of gators. Otherwise,
so it's not like elves where you can only die in battle or from a broken heart.
A broken heart. Or along with the starvation, yeah. But
yeah.
Because there's a video, it's gnarly. It is so gnarly because gators are the most metal fucks on the planet.
They really are.
And it's like 3 or 4 gators, and it's like a feeding frenzy. Somebody throws the meat in there, and they're all like going for it. Mm-hmm. And gator number 1 accidentally chomps down on gator number 2's foot, upper arm, and he just barrel rolls. And it literally just rips gator number 2's arm right out of the socket. And gator number 2 doesn't even flinch.
Oh my God.
He just keeps eating.
That's insane.
They checked on him later, and he just had 3 legs later.
Wow. One of my favorites. So when I was in high school in South Carolina, they had a lot of really cool electives that you could take once you were done with all your stuff. So I took a marine science class, and we learned a little bit about alligators. And one of my favorite things about them is that they bite down with the force of 3 tons or some kind of fucking nonsense, so they can break bones. but they can't lift their mouths with any force. So you can put a standard rubber band around the mouth of an alligator and it will not be able to open its mouth. So you can like, that's why the people who like wrestle alligators, if they get their hands around the mouth, they're fine. Because that's all it takes, because then they can't open their mouths. It's the closing where they have all the muscles. And I think that is wild.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Nature be crazy.
Damn nature, you scary.
You scary.
So, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. The Bridget Fonda...
This is not a movie that we need to dissect very deeply.
She was fine. What happened to her? She's kind of disappeared, right?
She didn't do a lot or anything very good. She was in Single White Female, but that was in 92.
Well, and Jackie Brown.
Yeah, she hasn't done anything since 2002.
Oh, also a very young Mariska Hargitay. Because she was on screen for like a minute, and I just kind of kept looking at you. And I finally go, who is that? Because I didn't want to be like, is that Mariska Hargitay? And you'd be like, no, you idiot. That doesn't look anything like her. Like,
I'm very rarely that intense about stuff like that.
Oh.
Be nice to me.
Okay. you are famous for your easygoing demeanor.
Okay, look, if that wasn't Mariska Hargitay, I would agree with you that she looked just like her.
And I mean, I think she's an incredible and a beautiful woman, but I feel like she sort of like came into the world at 38 and a deputy.
And then stayed there forever.
So it was very strange to see her. And she's only in that one scene, but...
Actually, do you know what else Bridget Fonda is in? That this is the real reason that I love her, is because she is in a movie with Nick Cage.
Oh, God.
It's called It Could Happen to You, and it's actually really cute.
Okay.
He's a cop, and he buys a lottery ticket.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's really cute. I love that. And Rosie Perez is in it. I love that movie.
We watched it when we were young.
Yeah. But no, I mean, after this, which was 99, she only worked for 3 more years, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I really did like it. It was very funny. And considering, it's a movie about a crocodile who's eating people and animals, and even though I said the second cow part was a little bit mean, that aside, it actually was a pretty sweet movie, and like everybody got a happy ending.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Even Betty White got her little baby crocodiles.
I know.
So, yeah, I really enjoyed it, to be honest. I mean, like I said, as far as we've done this once or twice, but when we talk about movies, there's like good movies, bad movies, and medium movies. And then within those 3 categories, there's like good and bad to medium. And so I would definitely say this is a medium movie, or maybe even a good bad movie.
I would say it's a good bad movie.
Good bad movie? Okay.
Yeah.
And to repeat my point again, I think it's good for young people. I think if you've got rowdy boys of a certain age and you want to give them a cheap thrill, throw Lake Placid at them.
Yeah, for sure.
With probably Drop Dead Gorgeous. Well, sure, if they're a certain kind of boy. Deep Blue Sea. Deep Blue Sea is a little bit gorier.
Definitely Deep Blue Sea. You're right about that, though. Deep
Blue Sea is gorier, because this was pretty tame, but...
Yeah.
So, okay, well, we're going to go see Crawl. I'm actually a little bit nervous.
You think it's going to be too scary?
I don't think it's going to be too scary, but you know how I don't like watching... Well, I've kind of gotten over it after Halloween and Us and all that. Yeah. And we have the big chairs now, so I don't feel like somebody's behind me and like gonna...
Sure, okay, yeah.
All right, well, I think we're going to go see Crawl, and then we will check back in after we have done that and let you know what we think.
Yes, we will.
We might be boozier the next time you talk to us.
I don't know, I've had half a bottle of wine.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right.
Bye.
See you later, alligator.
Oh my God. After a while, crocodile. I had to. We had to.
The state of Florida has issued a Category 5 hurricane warning. All residents must evacuate immediately.
Haley, are you hurt?
I'm fine. Hello, can anybody hear me? I'm trapped with my father in our house in Coral Lake. Please send help.
Haley!
Wait, down here!
Pete, you hear that? You need to go now.
I'm not leaving you here.
I remember taking notes. Like, I had like 5 or 10 notes, surprisingly, but I know where they are. Oh my god, hold on.
2 hours later.
I put them in my shirt pocket for some reason.
I wondered.
Actually, I am kind of glad I found these.
Is it definitely worth it?
There was a couple things that I had already forgotten about. So, okay. Hello, everybody. We are back. We just saw Crawl. I don't think this is going to be too formal or too long, so let's just dive in. What did you think?
I did this thing that I do sometimes where I really like scary movies. I think they're fun and I like them. But then I get to the point where I'm like in the movie theater and I'm like, oh shit, one of my biggest fears is being eaten alive by an animal. And I realize what I've gotten myself into. So I spent a majority of this movie with my hands on my face because I was just certain someone was going to be completely eaten alive. And it did happen a couple of times.
Yeah, I was so detached from the movie, and not in a bad way. That maybe sounds bad, but like, I mean, that happens in Lake Placid. Why did that not bother you?
Because I've seen it before, and I know who makes it. Like Bridget Fonda goes in the water no less than 100 times.
We did forget to mention that.
But I know that she's fine at the end of it.
It's like her center of gravity's in her head.
Exactly. But it's like, I didn't know if one or both or neither or even the dog was going to make it out of this alive. So I was like, I'm just every time that they're like swimming around the fucking Florida basement, I was like, I can't take it. So, also, alligators are terrifying.
I'm at a place where I'm actually really, really appreciating how far special effects have come right now, because these gators were really great.
They were really good. They were really well done. They looked real.
So I read an article, accidentally, I didn't seek it out, it like popped up, but it was about the dog in the movie. And so I guess for anyone listening right now, we can do our does the dog die? No, he does not.
I think
makes
it's a
all the
she,
way.
but yeah.
Sugar. Yeah, she was wonderful.
She was so cute.
She was actually not a lot of help for like a good 50 minutes, but...
Yeah, I mean, what's she supposed to do? She can't fight a gator.
Well, that's what the article was talking about, how there were several different versions of the script, and in like the first 3 versions of the script, she did die. In one of them, she like sacrifices herself for them to get out and stuff, and the director, I do not remember his name. Do you have it available?
It's Alexadre Aja, yeah. But it's like Alexander with an R-E.
Oh, okay.
It's not a woman, it's a man.
Okay, he was talking about it's in particular American public's obsession with dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, don't get me wrong, I love dogs too, but he was like, there's this like forbidden territory with dogs in movies to the point where he was told by the studio that he couldn't do it.
Oh,
and
funny.
He was like, my Instagram is full of like nothing but people threatening. They're like, I will only see this if I know the dog is safe. And he was like, I realized that toying with the audience up until the end was more exciting than actually just killing the dog.
Sure,
like,
I get
threatening them with it the whole time. And so that's why I didn't say anything to the two of you. I had read that already, so I knew the dog was fine. And I thought about it, because remember the time when we warned Brittany about the monkey in the fall?
Yes.
And sometimes people need that, and so that's why we're talking, well, we're a spoiler show regardless, but that's why we're talking so freely about it here. But I just figured that you were, a sophisticated movie lady, and you didn't need that parachute. And...
No, I am, and I don't even mind if dogs die in movies, but I can't, it's like I can't, I'm on edge at every moment of a movie like that, because I don't know when someone I give a shit about in the movie is going to be eaten alive, which is one of the most horrifying things I can imagine.
I did tell you, you were racked with anxiety this whole movie. I was mostly just having the time of my life. I thought this movie was hilarious.
It definitely was.
It's so fun, and I have no problem saying that this is a great movie. Like, I think it's actually just a great creature feature, and as I think we've already mentioned, the fact that it's so one and done, like it's so to the point, is one of its best qualities. This thing didn't need to be 2 hours and 20 minutes.
No, can you even imagine?
Yeah, I can. In this day and age, I really can. Like,
no, I totally agree with you, though. Having it be, like, not even a full hour and a half was, I think, perfect. And it also ends very abruptly.
It really does. If anything, I actually could have used 5 more minutes.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like 5 more minutes, 10 at the max, at the absolute max, 10 more minutes, just for, like, a little bit of aftermath or something. But
there's a part of me that I'm like, based on everything they've shown us thus far, they are not out of the water yet.
Right,
like,
exactly.
There are like 3 rescue attempts throughout the movie. So I was like, are we done? This is like the definition of like a movie that writes a check it can cash. Like,
oh, for sure.
If anything, it was better. I remember seeing the first trailer and I was like, this is going to be piping hot garbage. And it turns out that it's like junk food, where it's like, man, when good junk food, you know what I mean, is done well.
Yeah,
like,
definitely. It's so silly and it's so fun, and it's like one of the best like garbage summer movies that I've seen in recent years. You go and you watch this girl and her dad get terrorized by what appear to be fully sentient alligators. Like they are targeting them specifically. And you watch that for 90 minutes and then you go home. And it was just like, I'm not going to be thinking about this movie for the rest of my life, but it was like super fun and exactly what it needed to be for what we were doing.
To compare this to something similar, like The Meg, it's like, this takes itself more seriously than that does. And there's an element of that. I mean, the worst thing is a movie that takes itself too seriously, but there is a certain element, and I feel like we're in this time as audiences where, you know, audiences have gotten more sophisticated, and we do kind of want that. I mean, it does sort of blur the lines, and it's not one of these things where it's like a metaphor for climate change or like a exploration of what is a father. Like, and there are elements of both of those things enough to actually make, like, I was a little bit surprised when I ended up actually caring about these two people. Mm-hmm. And I just gotta, like, to go into like hard spoiler territory, I do slightly have to pour 2 out for, what was it, Nate and Wayne?
I don't remember the second one's name, but it was definitely Wayne.
Pete got it worse than Wayne. Oh, I don't know. He also went quicker.
Yeah, Pete got eaten by 100 alligators at one time.
And it is one of my least favorite horror movie tropes, and it's the no good deed goes unpunished.
Right.
But I guess in something like this, you really do. Do you need a body count? I was fine with it. I enjoyed it.
Yes, because you even complained about like Placid not having enough of a body count.
Just 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, so it's like this, I think, had a decent enough body count and limb count. And
there were like the people, oh my God. There were the people who were like looting because I thought at least one of them should have made it longer, like should have made it to the house or something. Like the guy in the 7-Eleven or whatever.
Oh, okay.
The girl was awful. She had to go. She was white with cornrows. Gotta go. Like, the second her hood came off, I was like, nope. I remember also seeing the trailer and being like, how are they, like, up to their, like, necks in water? But they did establish the flash flood. And that was fun, too. Like, and it had that thing where it was like, I call it shitty CGI, and we already just praised how good it was, but there's like a layer of artifice to like the storm.
Sure, yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say is like that can lead us into my couple of issues as a Floridian, which is that was in no way, shape, or form a Category 5 storm.
No, the rain was just straight.
Yeah, and there was like no wind when they were outside. And in the second place, I feel like if it were a Category 5 storm, the gators would have gone to ground and like they wouldn't be hunting in the middle of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then my other issue is that Florida house on the Gulf Coast, not even in the middle, not even in Orlando, that Gulf Coast Florida house had a fucking basement. It was like a crawl space, but still.
They made sure to say that because I was like, oh, the title means several things.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, it's super unlikely in Florida houses.
I thought that too. I also laughed out loud, like I think kind of not obnoxious, but like distractingly so when they were outside. Well, they're outside, and I think they were playing it fast and loose with the Gator facts as well, because he was like, they can't hear us or something. Like, I don't know, it was weird.
Well,
so
no,
they were
that
like,
kind of stuff is true because it's like they don't see very well when they're not under the water, and they hear better under the water, because I don't know if I'm 100% right, and I didn't look it up, but I think they, like, partially use, like, echolocation kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, they were at a place where they had to be very quiet, and luckily there was this raucous storm going on all around them. And then the second they, like, get into the water, the eye comes over them, and I just was, like, dying. I thought that was the funniest thing in the world. And also it lasted for, like, less than 2 minutes or something, and I was like, I don't know. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem for me is the mechanics of a hurricane. like a Gulf Coast Category 5 hurricane. That's my problem. Because none of that was accurate.
That we love to be like, this earthquake is a 10.5, and it's like, that California would be gone.
Exactly. That's like higher than anything has ever been recorded.
I actually have a note written with an exclamation point, and it just is the spiders. I thought that was so funny.
Not funny at all. Horrible. That's the thing, is there was so much shit in that basement. Look, I love my dad. I might have let him die. That's horrifying. The whole basement was horrifying.
Yeah, and there is a lot of, like, body stuff, because both of them do get bitten by the gators, like, 70 times.
More than once. Because he's already been bitten when she gets there. He's already been, like, bitten or scratched or whatever on the shoulder. Plus, it has compound fractured his leg. And
he just ties it back together.
Oh,
with a wrench.
That was the worst. That was actually the worst part. But then it bites her in the leg while she's trying to get away, and then later it bites her in the arm.
And it, like, thrashes her around. Like, she hits lot. Multiple objects.
Yeah, and then it gets her in the arm and is, like, twirling her underwater while she's trying to grab that road flare.
I forgot the barrel roll that they like to do, because I already mentioned it.
Well, they actually do that, because that's the other thing where we had a problem with Lake Placid, and I have a little bit of a problem with this, because that's not how alligators feed.
Mm-hmm.
They don't eat right away. They will, like, kill the thing and take it to the bottom of the body of water and then, like, let it there to rot for a little while. Mm-hmm. And then they'll, like, go back to it. Yeah, and they'll go back to it and eat it, like, in pieces. Oh, and then it totally just, like, ripped off Barry Pepper's arm. Which is insane.
That one was crazy, because it was like John Wick 3 all of a sudden. There was just this close up and sound effects, and it was like crunch. But yeah, I don't know. I thought, and she did this whole movie barefoot.
Yeah.
Because she takes her shoes off, like, first thing.
She did. Yeah. Well, I mean, she wouldn't, it was just flip-flops. She wouldn't have kept those flip-flops going anyway, but still. I also had the same thought.
Yeah, Kaya Scodelario. I guess she's great. I didn't really care for her all that much in the first few things I saw her in.
Mm-hmm.
But she's, especially with this, I'm always kind of excited when, like, an up-and-comer gets a horror film. Because I'm like, this could be the beginning of, like, a long and successful career. Like,
I mean, she's been working for, like, a while, but in England.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she was on that show Skins, which was, like, kind of a big deal. Yeah.
I thought it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. It's definitely one of those movies where if it's hot outside and you want to go see something kind of scary and weird, go watch this movie. If you like monster movies.
Yeah, it's good with friends. It's good with the full theater.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, yeah, it's a good scary. And we talked a little bit about it. There obviously is gore, but I didn't think it was overly gory.
No, the Barry Pepper resetting his leg was the grossest part to me.
Mm-hmm. And because of the, like, wet nature of it, it's not, like, overly bloody. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
so
yeah.
It's easy to shield your eyes from.
There's, like, a couple of, like, oozy wounds, but only like
there's
twice.
There's a couple jump scares, but nothing too bad. I loved it, so.
I
think that's good, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, as always, you can follow us on Twitter @SoI'mWatching, Instagram @SoI'mWatchingTheShow. We are also on Facebook and Tumblr, So I'm Watching This Show. No music to speak of to put in the Spotify playlist, so nothing right now. And then, as always, just please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen. And that's it for us. Bye!
That was a gator.
I got it.
It just attacked me.